Star quality. I got it. I got this. You got it. You got it. My chart says so. Look at me go. Sun, moon, rising. It's all about time. It's all about time. Earthlings. What's it all mean? What's it all mean? Star quality.
What's it all mean? What's it all mean? Mean.
Star quality. Woo. No, dude, really, what does it all mean? I got it. You got it. We got it. Star quality. Star quality. Welcome back to Star Quality, everybody. I am your host, Stevie, and well, we're in it. We're here. We are in official eclipse season time. The eclipse, take a shot portal is open. So today we have the Virgo full moon lunar eclipse happening late night Pacific time here on March 13th, 2025 at 11:54 p.m. Pacific time. And when we say we're in this eclipse season, eclipse portal, that just means this is the first one that we're experiencing in this month. And then we're going to have another eclipse that comes up on March 29th in Aries. So we're wrapping up the Aries eclipse time. We are in the second eclipse of the eclipse series with Pisces and Virgo. This is our first one that we will have in Virgo. We have not had this eclipse set of series, though it's flipped with the North Node and South Node. But this is our first time we've experienced eclipses in the Virgo Pisces axis since 2015/2016. So I was just looking at the dates of those eclipses, and like so much major stuff happened in my life then. And now looking, pretty much a decade later, right? And being like, okay, now what is up? And like what things carry on. So we'll talk about the themes of this Virgo full moon lunar eclipse and get into the chart. I'll pull up the chart. So if you are watching on video, come watch on video. I'm back on video. I'm in my video era again. But you're more than welcome to listen to this just on audio. I'll describe everything pretty thoroughly. So and you can listen or watch this, of course, on Substack. These go to YouTube, also on like Apple Podcasts and Spotify. If you're having any, so I only had, because Mercury retrograde starts tomorrow. I had one person who was having trouble accessing their RSS feed for podcasts. So if you have any tech difficulties, please let me know, because I want you to not have that. So let me know. But if you are a paid subscriber, you will get this full episode. Free subscribers, there will be a paywall. So paid subscribers, you do have your own private RSS feed that should come when you sign up. And if you're like, what is this? This is my first time here. Hello, I'm your astrologer, Stevie. Star Quality is my podcast and newsletter where we go over the astrology of right now, pop culture, anything that comes up that's astrology wise. I thought maybe in 2025 there'd be a little more time for like kind of side quest deep dives, but honestly, the astrology of 2025 has been so freaking nonstop. I feel like I'm just kind of rolling and keeping up with the current transits. I think come like May, hopefully, there'll be more space to do other topics. So also, if you have anything you want covered, let me know. I'm happy to explore that. So paid subscribers join, who are people who join the third space, which is my membership tier. And that is a $7.77 a month commitment, which basically you buy me a nice coffee. I give you all this great info and bonus content. And then you get full access to the weekly horoscopes that, free subscribers get Monday and Tuesday and a glimpse at Wednesday. And then paid subscribers get the full week. So you'll always know what's up with the sky right now. And yeah, I think that's it. I think that's the plug. Honestly, eclipses are so tiresome. I don't know if anyone else is just like super energy drained. I mean, full moons do that in general, but when they're eclipses, it's even stronger. And we've just been having really wild style weather here in LA. Like last night was just like crazy winds and rain, like in the middle of the night. The winds are going crazy right now. It feels all very like ominous outside, not gonna lie. Well, it's like both. It's like pretty sunshine trees and then like wind stirring clouds. So very cool. Um, yeah, I'm gonna pull up the chart and go over that in a bit. And you know, I think first things first, like what are eclipses, right? Like what's the deal with this? And so the eclipses is where basically the sun and moon's paths are have some interference. They're not like operating that they're typical full lunations of like a full new moon or a full moon, like they're partially, this one's a partial full moon lunar eclipse. They're getting there's like an optical illusion thing that happens there. And so we know where these eclipses are going to be depending on where the nodes are. So the nodes are okay, explaining this for all the math and science people as someone who is definitely an arts and English leaning person, but I've conquered my fear of math through astrology. But basically, the ecliptic is where the sun and moon's paths cross, and that's where that like X marks the spot zone is where we determine in the part of the sky where the nodes are. And so the nodes then steer us to the eclipses. So during eclipses, it's said to be times that are a bit chaotic, a little stirred up. They mark time periods of change, chapters starting, chapters closing, because, well, it's like twofold. Because this is like a south node eclipse, but it's the first one of this series. I think this time, I wouldn't be shocked if this time is marking the beginning of an end. This time is cluing us into maybe some things that need to be composted. Doesn't mean they have to be fully thrown out, but maybe we can recycle them in some way. I always think of Virgo with sustainability. It's earth maiden, earth mother, like love the earth, right? And so like we just don't want to throw a bunch of trash into the garbage patch island, right? Like what can we do with our clutter, with the things we don't want anymore, with the things we want to discard, and ethically, resourcefully put them to bed. And that's what's coming up for me as I think of just, yeah, Virgo, South Node, full moon. Full moons we're releasing. Full moons we have the most light, even if this one's partially eclipsed, so that we can get in touch with what is no longer needed. And I think Virgo energy actually does a really great job of organizing, sometimes compartmentalizing, which sometimes we need to do, and making sure that everything that we're keeping on us, keeping around us, keeping with us has a purpose and has an intention. And it's not just like stuff for stuff's sakes. I think where Taurus, the other sign, likes stuff for stuff's sakes, and Capricorn likes stuff for status's sake, and to show that, that their hard work paid off. Virgo is really like, this serves its purpose. Like, this is the pants I wear to make art, to do pottery, whatever. This is my things that I use for these things. So I think getting in touch with the why, like literally our why of like why are we doing what we do, but also why are we keeping what we keep. So yeah, teaser teaser of the themes ahead, but let me get this eclipse chart up, and we're going to go look through all the different aspects and also unfold this story. And I don't know, I'm feeling extra explainy about like the process. Maybe it's very Virgo. But of course the Virgo moon itself symbolizes the big themes of this Virgo full moon lunar eclipse. But we also want to look at what other planets are in play, what they're saying to each other. I consider the aspects, how far planets are from each other, a conversation between those planets, and if it's a smooth one or if it's one that needs some reconciliation, some reformatting, whatever it is. So let me get this chart up for you and we'll go over this Virgo full moon lunar eclipse chart. Okay, so we have our chart up for this full moon lunar eclipse, folks. Eclipse season time. I can't remember if I said this or not. So, but it's probably worth repeating if not. Eclipses, because of the unpredictable nature, is not really recommended for, I'm using air quotes, working with directly. Like we know a lot of the times new moons are times to call into manifestations, full moons to do like ritual work, whatever you want to do. But eclipses, most witches would say, just let it be. Of course, like you can still like take a bath and like light your candles you would normally light. But in terms of like fully calling in, oh, dear eclipse, please give me XYZ, which I don't know if anyone phrases it like that, anyways. It's not as recommended. How describe it is it's like the genie. I think of eclipses like the genie. So if you go, oh my God, hello, genie, I have a wish. My wish is to have a lot of money come in all of a sudden. And then it's like, okay, cool. We're gonna have like a family member die. So then you inherit all this money. So it can be a little like, I didn't mean like that. That's what I always find with eclipses. It's like, oh, I wanted that, but I didn't know I'd have to sacrifice this to get that. Or I didn't know that that meant now that thing changed. So I think those things just will actually just naturally happen a lot of time. I'm not saying any eclipses are only bad things happen too. I've seen, I've had events in my life take place around eclipses that have been really long lasting and sustaining, and um, times that really mark the growth of your life. So, yeah, I don't know. It's a very like just don't force it in my mind. I think it's great to observe, to journal on, to look back and be like, especially if you want to look back on the eclipses from this last set when we had the North Node in Virgo and the South Node in Pisces. But yeah, that's my 2 cents on like working with the eclipses. Like, I mean, you can also do whatever you want. Like, again, I'm not a cop, but I don't, who knows, maybe I would change my mind on that one day, but I don't think so. Because it's actually also like part of me with my Aries moon doesn't like being told what to do in the 10th house of authority. But it's also almost like nice to have like a permissed break from trying to manipulate the astrology or work with it or whatever. I'm like, oh, cool. Like, I mean, I'm a person that writes new moon manifestations every new moon, but I don't during the eclipses. And it's like, oh, I'll take the break. And then it makes me actually think about, say I take a month off for a new moon manifestation writing because of the eclipse. I'm like, okay, that last new moon before the eclipse, what do I really want to focus on and center on versus just maybe being too vague? So, anywho, again, I'm maybe doing what the Virgo eclipse is asking me not to do, which is over hyper explain, but whatever. We're also here in the podcast space, and that's what it's for. You might be noticing, and this has kind of been the theme for a while, but we are thickety thick stacked with this. Like, I'll just go ahead and call this a 2 sign mega stellium, the two for the Aries Pisces, the new and old, father time and baby new year collab of the century. And I mean, it's just a big fucking conjunction. Now, again, is this Chiron conjunct like the Saturn? No. But like visually, when we see this, I mean, it's like such a spread that how can you not think about these all together in some capacity? At least for me, this is where I think we're allowed to. Astrology has rules and we work within the rules, but we also can, if we are artists and interpreters of the sky magic, it's like I would think these all are connected, even if this guy is not, and I'm circling the Chiron here, is worlds away, technically, kind of, from the Saturn in Pisces. But I mean, when you look at it, it's like a flush. Like if we think of cards, it's like shit. They're really just going in order. And it's visually very like noticeable when you look at this full moon lunar eclipse chart. Here's the full moon up here at 23 degrees of Virgo, again, conjunct that south node in Virgo. And full moons are always when the moon is opposite the sun. So every time it's Pisces season, it's always a Virgo full moon, because Virgo is always the opposite sign of Pisces. Same thing, same idea. Every time it's Virgo season, it's always a Pisces full moon because they are connected. How do you figure that out? Look at the sign that's across from it. Aries to Libra, Scorpio to Taurus, et cetera, et cetera. So, like, is this not giving you a little bit of a headache how many oppositions are going on here? Now, these oppositions are technically only this Pisces cluster, because these Aries planets and asteroid are a little bit away. And we will get to the Venus retrograde of it all with Aries because Venus is retrograde. And that is information that is important to this eclipse chart. But the big conversation aspect wise is just, of course, the natural full moon opposition, but we're also getting a Neptune and Saturn opposition here in this full moon oppositional story. So, like, let's just talk about oppositions for a second, because I think opposition is when a planet is 180 degrees away from the planet. It's like total opposition. And oppositions, as we see, like all these green lines on my chart are the air quotes good aspects, trines and sextiles. All of the red ones, opposition and square, are the air quotes bad ones. Same, like, we have these general groupings so we can study them and understand them. Same with benefics versus malefics. They give us an understanding of what they do and their purpose. And so, I love squares. I'm a square whisperer, where squares are our signal to actually do action and do something different. We keep doing things the same way, we're going to go absolutely mad. But oppositions are funny because I find them more frustrating than squares. Hear me out, maybe because I have a lot of squares in my chart. I also have a lot of oppositions, but oppositions, when planets are so far, it's like, in theory, they don't see each other. They're on opposite worlds. They're in opposite realms. I think of it like coworkers. One works the day shift, one works the night shift. It's like, oh my God, who folded these t-shirts last night? It's like, oh, well, the sun and Saturn and Neptune and the North Node, they work the day shift and you work the night shift or whatever. And it's like these coworkers. It's like if you've ever worked at a clock-in job like me at Jimmy John's, I'd be like, who was here last night? It's like, oh, this person I've never met, but I see their name on the time cards and where I see them on the schedule and I'm aware they exist, but we don't, in a way, we don't influence each other, but we do see signs of each other. And that's what oppositions are. They're like so far away that they don't inform each other, but they're aware of each other's existence and they want to be able to work together. So, how do we work with a Virgo moon, South Node opposition to all this Pisces energy?